Matt Gaetz put out a tweet about UFO legislation, and it got UFO Twitter all riled up. So let's jump in and see what this is about. It involves the Schumer Amendment. I'll give some details here. This is Patrick. This is vetted. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, but we still got this content coming, y'all. Every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, USA. Hit that subscribe button. We just hit 2,000 subscribers. So thank y'all very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every view, every comment, every like, every subscription, it means the world. So thank y'all very much. Hit that like button again. Comment down below what you think about this. This is kind of crazy, right? So let's jump in and see what I'm talking about. Matt Gaetz. This was put out on Wednesday, November 29th. Americans have long been kept in the dark by the U.S. government about unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. The time for transparency is now. We don't want the information in small bits and pieces over 25 years. The National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, passed by the House includes an amendment by Representative Tim Burchett, which mandates the Department of Defense, DoD, to declassify the military's knowledge on UAPs within 180 days of the NDAA's enactment. This proposal is currently the most effective way to expose what the DoD is hiding. Instead, Senator Schumer, Chuck Schumer, is trying to jam his amendment through the NDAA conference that would establish a commission akin to the decades-long JFK investigation. Under the commission, it could take up to 25 years to declassify documents and records related to UAPs. This is unacceptable. Thankfully, Representative Mike Rogers from Alabama has been an ally in the efforts to expedite the disclosure of information on UAPs and to hold the House position. When the Air Force tried to block my review of the information discussed below, Chairman Rogers personally made calls and broke that logjam. The Senate now faces a choice between adopting Representative Burchett's amendment or Senator Schumer's prolonged approach. Wow. So basically, what's happening here? Basically, you've got two bits of UAP legislation now that are fighting, right? Representative Tim Burchett's and Senator Chuck Schumer's amendment. Now, this is interesting because I didn't know anything about this, right? Everyone's just been talking about the Schumer amendment and how that needs to get passed. And all of a sudden, Tim Burchett brings out this. Now it becomes this. Is it Democrat versus Republican now? I don't know. I don't want this to become political, but it probably is, y'all. This is probably going to become very political. And it's interesting that he brings up Mike Rogers, right? We've been discussing him in other videos, how David Grush called him out on Joe Rogan that he's been blocking the amendment. So we've got some information on that. Let's watch a couple clips from News Nation that kind of dig into this a little bit further. Let's see what I'm talking about. Let's go. Pardon the ad.
Well, new details this morning about efforts to release what the U.S. government knows about UFOs. And today, some House members are expected to lay out how they're being blocked from releasing that information in the first place.
It comes as Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Mike Rounds led the Senate to declassify records on unidentified aerial phenomena. Nick is here with the story. Nick?
Adrian Markey, you know, we have followed this story and broke news on this here at News Nation from the very beginning for the better part of a year. Now, Congresswoman Anna Luna says she wants to draw attention to the continual pushback, sidelining, and stonewalling, and countless Americans have received getting new information. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is co-sponsoring a bill requiring all classified records dealing with non-human intelligence be made public. But that legislation is now facing pushback from the likes of House Intelligence Chairman Michael Turner, who says the legislation is poorly drafted.
What I really find interesting about what I call the pro-alien caucus over here in the House, you would think that if this is that important of an issue to them, at least one member of the House who's advancing this cause would actually come up and substantively talk to me about this issue. No one has even raised it.
The pro-alien.
Pro-alien. Like, who's what does that even mean? So this is interesting. Poorly drafted. Think about that. David Grush helped draft that legislation, right? Carl Nell. These are the people that helped draft that legislation with Chuck Schumer. So shots fired all across. There's going to be a lot of drama over the next month, y'all, for this, over the next couple of months. I'm telling y'all right now. I'm calling it right now. There's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of fighting back and forth, right? We're all supposed to be on the same team with this, and now it's becoming political. So now, at the last second, they're trying to put this in. So we've been, and Tim Burchett talked about Senator Chuck Schumer's amendment back in July. If they thought it was poorly written, what are we talking about? Something's not adding up, y'all.
In caucus. Now, the Daily Mail also shedding new light on an alleged covert government-run UFO crash retrieval program.
All right, that's talking about another video that we made about the CIA and that, but that's not what this video is about. All right, I got another video about this. Let's go.
So do you think you should be able to read almost everything that the government knows about UFOs? At least a half a dozen U.S. senators think so. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Mike Rounds are spearheading an amendment to declassify government records on unidentified aerial phenomena. Their bipartisan plan for more transparency is getting some major pushback, though, in the House. So let's go to News Nation's Joe Khalil live for us tonight on Capitol Hill. Where do things stand with this, Joe?
Well, Connor, look, this would be the most aggressive measure that we've frankly ever seen in history when it comes to disclosure about what the government knows and has as it relates to UAPs. But you're right, there is a lot of pushback right now. You've also got this dynamic where there's a Senate version and a House version. The House one doesn't go nearly as far as the Senate version, so it's not clear which one of those is going to win out.
For those pushing for more transparency around the UAP.
So I think that's what it is. I'm not entirely sure. Help me out in the comments. But I think Representative Tim Burchett's, and I'll put a link to it so y'all can see the bill itself, is the House version, and the Senate version is Senator Chuck Schumer. Now, we always knew that it needed to pass in the Senate, then the House, and then get signed into the NDAA, right? There was a 3-step process there. So, anyway, let's keep going.
Or UFO issue from the federal government. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's amendment to the National Defense Bill may be the most important piece of legislation ever written to that end.
I mean, that's crazy, right? Why would they want to replace it then with Tim Burchett's? Right? What is happening with Tim Burchett? I mean, this is all over the place. It doesn't make sense. It's like you think things are aligned, and then all of a sudden this stuff comes out that it seems all misaligned, right? That's the best piece of legislation to ever be put forth about UAP disclosure, and we want to get rid of it and put something else in.
It requires all government records relating to UFOs and, quote, non-human intelligence to, quote, carry a presumption of immediate disclosure, and all records should eventually be disclosed to enable the public to become fully informed.
And we just thought, look, it's time that we actually do a comprehensive look at this and have a location where year after year it could be compiled.
Republican Senator Mike Rounds co-sponsored the amendment with Schumer. Rounds says it offers transparency and disclosure with mechanisms to keep certain secrets crucial to our national defense hidden. The measure.
So it is a bipartisan effort, right? Schumer and Rounds, and now you got Burchett and Gaetz, and geez. I don't know what's going on.
It would also give the federal government control over all, quote, recovered technologies of unknown origin and biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or entities. Those words in a legitimate congressional bill would have been unheard of, laughed at years ago. Today, it has the full backing of a number of U.S. senators. But there is some pushback to that language, according to multiple sources News Nation has spoken with, including the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, Adam Smith.
I know that there is a dispute, that the people who support the House language are not happy with the Schumer language, but it's being worked out.
Some in Congress who support full disclosure of government information on UAPs have accused the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Michael Turner, among others, of spearheading the opposition to the amendment. Today, Turner told News Nation that's simply not true.
I'm not holding up his provision at all. I do think it's a poorly drafted piece of legislation. Also, what I really find interesting about what I call the pro-alien caucus over here in the House, unlike you, not one of them has ever spoken to me about any of these issues.
Turner didn't take follow-up questions, but did make clear he thinks the UAP amendment will fail, though reiterated he's not actively trying to block it. So, Connell, this morning you got the House Armed Services Committee, the Senate Armed Services Committee.
So that's interesting, right? David Grush is saying he is trying to block it. He's saying he's not doing anything. He's neutral. He's just standing in the way. There's a lot going on here, y'all. This was kind of expected, okay? If this is the greatest piece of legislation to ever pass, UAP disclosure, all this, it's expected that there's going to be these speed bumps, right? It's expected that it's going to be a little hairy here.
They met together to work out their differences in the NDAA, the large defense bill that Congress passes annually. This UAP amendment is going to be part of that. So whatever version both committees come up with together, that's what will live in the bill, and that is what we're going to be tracking over the next few days and weeks.
So honestly, it does sound like something is going to get included in it about UAP transparency. It just may not be what we want. But something is going to get in. Now, I'm going to put a link. Pardon me again, y'all. Sorry, just under the weather. It's been a long couple days. I'm going to put a link to this tweet right here from Dean Johnson. He goes through the legislation proposed by Tim Burchett, so you can read it, all right? And basically, it's not good, okay? It's not good. And Gaetz's point is basically about time, right? It's about time. He's saying Schumer's is 25 years, ours is 180 days. But that's not the entire truth, right? Schumer's is a whole scope. It's a whole thing. It's very dense. Whereas Tim Burchett's, it's very small and limited in scope. So I'll put a link to this so y'all can read it. Also, there is today, okay, at 12:30, so 30 minutes after this video comes out, there's a bipartisan press conference on UAP transparency, and we'll see what happens. So here's what they say. On Thursday, November 30th, 2023, House Oversight and Accountability Committee member Representative Anna Paulina Luna will host a bipartisan press conference along with Reps Tim Burchett, Matt Gaetz, and Jared Moskowitz to draw attention to how the U.S. government has covered up UAP transparency and barred the American people from knowing the truth about UAPs. Participants, Representative Luna, Burchett, Gaetz, and Moskowitz. Additional members likely. Press conference followed by Q&A. So we'll get some answers today. I'll do a video on that tomorrow. All right. So I don't know what's happening, y'all. Honestly, again, I think something is going to go through, some sort of bill, but it's probably not what we want, maybe. Right. So again, I'll put links to all of this so y'all can check it out. But people are not happy. I'm going to tell you that right now. People are not happy. People are upset at Tim Burchett and, just out of nowhere. And Matt Gaetz are upset at him. I don't know what's going on. So we'll see. I think we'll have more information by the weekend, definitely tomorrow, and we'll cover it, see where we go. All right, y'all. This is Patrick with Vetted. I don't know. It's confusing. We'll see you on the next video, y'all. All right. Remember, every day's a gift. Peace, y'all.